Hey David, I'd like to welcome you to Web App Development 200 Assessment 3. For my project, I have created a YouTube clone. I thought it'd be a pretty fun one to take on, and I'm always sort of using YouTube, so big fan. This is the homepage with, it's got your navigation, so your nav bar component here, a side navigation component, the cards component with the card, and then it's got the card header as well, so all things that we've done in class. These are all examples of what I've already uploaded to Firebase, so I've got that all hooked up working pretty well. For the other pages I've created, it is only a very basic notifications page, but all the routing does work properly, and this is a super handy one to learn and do, so I can sort of add from my other projects, add seamless pages in there. So all that works really well. And I'll show you how the add card page works. So again, this is pretty similar styling to what we did in class, and I'll show you. So I'll add another video to the database. So I'll just say traveling Australia in a van, and then your channel name, so I'll just say it's my own. Video duration time, I'll just say 12 minutes. Oops, 12 minutes, 90 seconds. And the video tags, so this is what generates the URL for the images. I've sort of kept that just so I don't have to keep uploading images and stuff into the database. So I'll just say van, and then so you can see it just generated that one just there. It's got some very subtle CSS that you can see, so not too much. All the layout's pretty nice. It's pretty true to the actual YouTube app. And then again, just with these, still true to the YouTube app. Just with your general stylings. Also within the card component, I have put in a card header. So, and then it's got the clickable icons and the on hover state as well. And these actually delete from the database too, which is pretty cool. And then it is responsive as well, so it works pretty well up to a certain degree. I didn't go down to the super fine sort of mobile details or screen sizes. I'll show you into the Firebase. So not much change in here. I did learn how to put in my own custom fields. So the only one I put in here is title. So it's obviously the video title. Pretty straightforward stuff there. And then jumping into the React app. So it is got all the dependencies that we put in class. I found a few extras that I use, these material UI icons, when I just come across them along other parts, so they were pretty cool. Saved some work sort of uploading images and etc. And then so there's a Firebase code just with my API keys that access my database, the browser router tags for the app, and then it is in here too. Again, very similar setup to what we had in class with the routers, jumping between cards and the notifications page, and the notifications which is on that icon that I showed you before. One thing I'll show you, I had another component here that I was playing around with, and it was pretty much complete, but it was giving me a lot of issues, so I've left it out. And it is sort of like the Airbnb one I've done, and it's got all the your filters here, so you could filter through this in the videos. I was having some issues. It was telling me that the objects type were not an array, and I should have been using it as an object. I think I've got that right. But this was just to sort of keep it more true to the YouTube app, so you can see those there. Again, so I just sort of failed to get that working because it was breaking my page a lot, and I was getting a lot of errors. So I've just left that one out. From here, I'll show you some of my file structure. So I have decided to go with each component, has the JS file and the CSS within that folder, like how I was going to set it up in my last assessment. and all my images are here. Again, I've taken these from Figma. I found that stuff. And then a cool trick I learned when I was building my personal portfolio is to actually have all of my images within its own template, and then I can just export them from here. And then so when I was importing them in, I just actually, I wouldn't have to import the actual SVG files. I'd just import from this index. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I'll start from the nav bar. So these are the material UI icons that I found, worked out how to use all of them, which is pretty cool. And then yeah, it's just your sort of basic nav bar setup, with your hamburger tags there, your YouTube logo, it's the search container. So all of these are, it sort of works. Keep scrolling down. So my icons, so the mic, the video call, so that's the open display, which is the add field, and then down again to the notifications page with the links to that. And then yeah, just a small avatar that's up for the profile as well. And then from here I will go into, so I'll go into the home and I'll show you sorting cards. So I've been trying to get this video out for about 10 minutes. Trying to get, go through all these files and stuff. It's pretty tricky. So yeah, again, same as what we how we had it all mapped in class, to pass all the data through the other into the cards and then into the card header for all of these functions to work and to get the data from the database. So when I do click that to delete, it has access to the database. So again, that was all thanks to your great teaching. And then I'll go into the actual card itself. Again, it's very similar to how we had it set up in class, and I actually used a lot of my HTML structure from the Airbnb site that I created, because a lot of it, these sort of thumbnails and this sort of component is very similar styled, and then so the card header as well. And this is, yeah, again, a lot of the things we done in class, and again with the material UI icons, and I've managed to figure out how to use all of those for hovering and sort of handling and all that stuff too. Okay, from there I'll show you, that's the category container I was talking about. So it's another loop, and it had all the your titles and stuff there. And so I did have it was pretty much looping. I just had to change something in here, but yeah, it was just been a real bugger. Righto, again, so the ad card. So yeah, a lot of the Firebase stuff, this is where it's getting all that, and this is where I've added in my own use state. So that was the user title, and then yeah, so I passed all of that through to here, and then I've inputted it in my own layout in here for all these components. I can show you just some of the the CSS. You can obviously have a look through all this stuff for yourself. I'll just show you the app. So it does have all your sort of primary colors and all that stuff set out, so you can just sort of add these color variables or the bars in there. And then one of the last, so the sidebar component I've got in here, and it's just a series of loops. I've only included 2 loops in because otherwise it's just basically copy and pasting code and typing in more data. So I could have done that to fill these out pretty easily. It was just I've got it set out there, so that would have been pretty easy to do, just basically some more time. So yeah, this is the data here, and for this I have imported the SVGs into this, like the data index here, and I've used this data set to display these SVGs alongside this, obviously just with the stylings of the CSS as well to get them all laid out that way. But yeah, that was another cool little trick that I learnt. And then these SVG images and all that stuff I've gotten from here, I've just been pulling them all out of Figma, and then just exporting them as SVG, same as your icons and logos, blah blah blah. And this is the navigations page that's been set up. Again, it's just its own component as well. And then yeah, in here, so much the same as the others, it's just got the material UI icons. And then yeah, there's nothing too special about that, but I'm just making sure that I've got everything that I wanted to speak about, because yeah, this was quite the project. Steep learning curve, like you said in class. There's a lot to take in, but obviously after recompleting it all and doing it all, it does start to click. I honestly find I like this setup with all the components better than your sort of standard HTML stuff. I know it's a bit of a pain to get it set up, but I honestly find this system, like, I like using it more, even just from doing the like the CMS class, and using all those content management systems there with old WordPress and things like that. I honestly think I like this system a lot more. I know it's more complex, and it's it obviously gets a lot harder than this, but yeah, I've been enjoying learning it, so that's for sure. But yeah, other than that, mate, I'd just like to say a big thanks for everything you've taught us. This isn't easy stuff to teach people. Very hard, but you've done extremely well, so thanks a lot, mate, and I might see you in another one. See ya.